Hello, wonderful teachers, and welcome to this video on how to use the Grader Report. So now that the school year is about to begin, and as I'm recording this video, it is the first year that we're using 2.8, which is a newer version of the ELC. There are some things I want to show you how to do, and there are also some really cool new features. So whether you are a brand new teacher or whether you've been around for a while, you definitely want to check out this video. Now, first off, something very important, whenever you click on grades, so course administration, you click on grades under the administration box. The Grader Report is where you're automatically going to be directed. Now this is a place that has all of your students. As you can see, I've got my 2 students in this class. It has some different options. So I can look at their grades, or I can look at single view, which is a new feature we're going to talk about in a moment. It has their email address, and then it has all of the categories and the assignments. Something else that you need to know, you can change the sorting that you have here. So if you want to go by their last name, it'll go by the last name. If you want to go by their first name, it doesn't change because Chris and Debbie Circle are the same both ways, but it would change the order. I'll keep it by surname though. Let's see. Another thing that you potentially could have is if you have groups, you'll notice a box that should be right in this area, and it's a drop-down box that allows you to select which group you're looking at. So say you have a group for Winter Park and you have a group for Winter Springs. If you click on it, you can see just your Winter Park students in one place, or if you click on it, you can see just your Winter Springs students, or you can see all of them at once. It's completely up to you. Just some cool features. Up here, we also have a place where you can sort your students if you're looking for somebody in particular. So you can either click the first letter of their first name or the first letter of their last name to see them. And then remember to go back to all when you want to see everybody. Otherwise, you're going to continue to only see people who have the last name that start with B. So first off, let's go ahead and talk about categories and how to collapse them. After all, as you can see, we've got quite a bit to scroll through, even though this is just a test course and doesn't have all that much in it. So to make things easier, one of the things that we can do is collapse categories. Now what that looks like is this. Right now, all of these categories are expanded, which basically means that you can see all of the content as well as the category totals. So how much students have in each category. Right now, our categories are all empty as far as grades go, but I'll show you how that works in just a moment. So what we can do is say for a moment, it's the fall semester. I don't need to look at spring right now. It's kind of in my way. It's just one more thing to load. So what I can do is actually come over here, and you see this box right here? I can click on it and it'll collapse that category. So if I scroll back over, all of a sudden my gradebook is much smaller because French has been collapsed. Now, as you can see, I can still see the category total. So say it's fall and it's at the end of the fall semester, I can still see how my students did that semester, but all I see is how they did, not every single assignment from that semester. Now, if you want it uncollapsed, all you have to do is click it twice. Now, you might be thinking, why twice? Well, the reason is this. As you can see, French now has no category total at the end, like this one does, that shows me how they did overall. So what I need to do is click on it a second time until I see just a minus mark here, and it'll show me everything that's going on in there. It's just the better way to go. Makes it all show up more readily. As you can see, the last thing is also the course total. So it's currently how they're doing in the class, because what I do during the semester is during the fall semester, I make sure that just the fall grades are showing up in their total. And then in the spring, we do the same thing. So just the spring grades are showing up in their total. This number is also what shows up in the dashboard for those of you who are familiar with that. All right, so that's how to collapse and re-expand your categories. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about how we can add in grades. Now remember, for assignments, which look like this, and for quizzes, which look like this, you can grade directly from those places. So if I were to go into here, for example, as you can see, I can hit View Grade, and I could insert their grades here. However, you know, sometimes you have those students who for some reason haven't done something. Let me save the changes there. So that happens sometimes. Or you can grade it in here. I'm going to refresh this page real quick so that way you can see what I updated. Ta-da! Okay, so imagine with me for a moment though that I want to just input a grade straight into this grader report. They handed this assignment in to me physically because they turned it in that way for some reason. Let me click here. I can type 100. I can click Save Changes, and it'll override it and go ahead and put that grade in. Now, you'll notice that there are two boxes. This second box is actually for feedback. So if I want to say something to my students, I can do that. So, for example, great job. Or potentially, maybe it's something that they haven't turned in. I can say turned in late or not turned in, need to use a grace to turn this assignment in, and I can put a 0 in there. Save changes. Always remember to save changes. Oh, also you'll need to turn editing on. As you can see, I have it on right now, so you'll need to make sure that's on to be able to do that. So this is one of the ways I can grade. Pretty typical. However, there is an easier way, and you're gonna love it. It is called single view. Now you can do single view for individual students or for individual assignments. So let's start off with an individual assignment. Let me scroll over here to the homework. As you can see, these are things I created in the gradebook itself. So I can't click on it, so it won't take me to a quiz or an assignment or a forum. So to grade it, the only place I can grade it is here in the grader report. To do that, instead of just putting our numbers in here, let's make it easier and click on single view. To do that, just click on this pen looking button here, and it will bring me to a page that has all of my students, the range of the grade itself, any feedback, all kinds of stuff. So I can actually put my grades in this way and not have to scroll or worry about losing grades. It just makes it so much easier, like so much easier, you have no idea. So we got 90, great job, and let's click on this one. Chris didn't do so good. We got 60. See me for extra help. All right, then I can click update, and it tells me how many grades were set, which is the 2 items I did, and there it is. So it makes it much easier to add grades for assignments. Now, let me move on. You can actually go to the next assignment from straight in here. Are you getting excited yet? Teachers who've been around a while? I know I am. All right, so let's click to the next thing, which is week 2's homework. Just did week 1, now let's do week 2. Now what we can do is this as well. We can do bulk inserts. This is awesome. As you can see, the default one is for empty grades, put in a 0. This is so perfect for forums or for quizzes because if a student didn't do it, it's not going to have a 0, it's going to be empty. So you can automatically have it set in that 0 for you. Tears of happiness, right? Okay, not that they got 0s, but that you can do it so easily. All right, so we've put in 0s here because they didn't do their work. Sigh. All right, let's go over to week 3. And in this one, we can do a bulk perform insert, and in this case, we can do all grades. Because you see, these students all did a great job. In fact, they all turned in their homework. They're all going to get 100. So I can just click that, all grades, insert value 100, update, and boom, it's done. It's done. Are you excited yet? I'm so happy about this. This makes me so happy. You have no idea. And for those of you who've been around, you understand. You totally understand happiness right here. Now, not only can you do single view for a specific assignment, but you can also do it per student. Yay! Okay, so Chris, let's check his grades out. So I'm going to click on this. little pencil button for the single view. And as you can see, it has his current grades in the different assignments that he's got. So again, I could do a bulk insert for all of the assignments, and I could have it put in zeros for anything that hasn't been graded, or I can do some other things. Now, one thing you're also going to notice is that things that are quizzes or assignments that you've created on the ELC itself, as opposed to in the gradebook, or forums, things like that, they all are grayed out potentially. That's because typically we grade them inside of that assignment. Now, if I want to grade it from in here, what I have to do is click on Override. Then you'll notice it goes from being grayed out to letting me type in there. So say for some reason the student had to resubmit this quiz, or there was an issue with the quiz and they were supposed to have a 10, the full grade, but something happened, then I can actually just click it in here, click Update, and it'll go ahead and save that new grade for me, even though they didn't complete it online. Now, this also does mean if I have an override here that I can't grade it from that assignment anymore. So, for example, since this is an assignment and I can show you, if I had to type in a 90 and I did that in here and clicked Update, then if I actually go to this, View Grade, and I actually go to Chris Circle and hit Update Grade, you'll notice that it has it and it's locked or overridden in the grade book. So that means I have to go back to the grade book to actually change this grade now. Not a big deal, but something to give you a heads up on just to make your lives a bit easier, because otherwise that's a huge surprise. So as you can see, single view, totally awesome. Works for just individual students or for individual assignments. By the way, you can also switch to other students from in here. I'll show you the next one alphabetically or however they're sorted. And then if you're done with single view, you'd like to go back, click on this, go to Grader Report, and we're back where we started. Note that you can also get straight to single view for a student right here. So I could click on that, I'm back to Chris Circle again. So that is basically the whole gist for how this whole thing works. Also, as you can see, we currently have grades going on in here. So I can see how my students are doing. Right now, Debbie, I believe this was 60% because I'm using percents. So she has an A right here. I can scroll along, see how they're doing. And at the very end, it'll show me, which you can barely see, but it shows the course total. We have 87 and a 98. It's only counting assignments that I have put grades in for, so if they are empty, it doesn't hurt them or help them. So I think that's about all that you need to know when it comes to the Grader Report and how it works. Oh, also, if you see this golden color, that basically means that the grade has been overridden here in the Grader Report or in single view. So don't be alarmed if you see that. That's all that means. And yeah, I think that's about it. So if you have any questions about the Grader Report or single view, just let me know and have a wonderful day.